Welcome to the Three in the Paint podcast. Jeremiah Solomon, along with the usuals, Leo Bias and Mark Haynes. And we have a special guest joining us today. Kenyon Murray is back with us on the podcast. It's always great to chat with Kenyon, and thanks for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you can come into town and watch your boys play, it's always a good time. But just appreciate you guys having me again.
Yeah, no, we always love the opportunity to get to chat with you, and obviously getting to see Keegan play on a daily basis is a treat. And then anytime Kris comes into town, that's also a lot of fun as well. Where are we at, Leo? Tell us where we're at.
We are at Pampas Brazilian Steakhouse on 10th and J across the Cathedral. It's a beautiful Brazilian steakhouse. You've been here before.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us have been here before. Huh?
Yeah.
Multiple times, as a matter of fact.
Looking forward to eating again.
Oh man, well I can't eat meat today. It is Friday.
Oh, man.
But we got some great salmon and some ceviche at the salad bar. So it's a steakhouse, but there's a little bit of everything here. So yeah, man, appreciate Pampas for allowing us to do this today.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to be here, and the food's great as usual, so check them out. But what I just wanted to quickly get into is you've got a lot of things cooking right now.
Yeah.
You personally and your family, a lot of exciting things. You have your coaching business, you have your speaking stuff that you do, and now we're also getting a little peek into what will soon be the Corridor Sports Performance Center. And home to a Murray Elite Basketball. So a lot of exciting developments there. Some renderings came out recently. Those renderings are sick.
Yeah.
I'll roll some of those renderings right now here in the video so people can get a chance to see that. But exciting stuff. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, no, it's been, we, as a family, we decided to, pour ourselves back into like the grassroots basketball. Because Kris and Keegan, when they grew up, they played for the Iowa Barnstormers, and the Barnstormers program has been around for 20 years. And so what we saw was an opportunity to help a program that helped them. And so with most top grassroots programs, they have their own facility and stuff like that. So we had an opportunity to meet with some people, and everything just kind of came together where we could actually start putting pen to paper and that kind of stuff. And we've gotten a lot of great support. And just this past Tuesday, we had the city council unanimously approve the project. And so, so we're moving forward with it. Yeah, absolutely. So, we talk about a strike while the iron's hot. Obviously, the Murray name in Iowa means a little bit right now, but we've gotten a lot of great people and organizations involved with it. So it's not just our family. Like, this is a community project because we talk about generational influence. And when you're in the NBA and you're making millions of dollars, everybody talks about generational wealth.
Right.
Well, we talk about generational influence and how we define it is the number of people from the community with the same vision to help their community thrive. Because if we do it that way, there's so many people with their hands, in it that want everybody to be successful, that when I'm long gone, we wanted to continue to be doing the same thing in the community. So
one vision, one goal.
Yep, absolutely. So that's what it's about, man. It's about giving back. Iowa's giving me everything I have, and so hopefully with this project we'll be able to do the same.
Is there what would roughly? I'm sure a lot of people in Iowa might watch this video. Like, what's like roughly the timeline do you think on this project? Is it 5 years out? Is it a couple years out? Like, what are you guys trying to?
If it was 5 years out, I don't think anybody would have proved anything. No, we're hoping to break ground this September 2025, and then 12 to 14 month project after that. Obviously, with some of the things going on politically, when you talk about building, tariffs and all that kind of stuff, we hope that doesn't affect us at all. But right now, we've got right now everything looks like it'll be in motion. The biggest thing now is raising the money for the project and moving forward, because this is something that. Even though Kris and Keegan's name is on it, they're not funding it.
Right.
That was one of the stipulations I had coming into it. Don't expect that. So we're truly going to raise the money with our nonprofit involved with it. We have a lot of different avenues that we can go to raise the $10 to $12 million. And so that's what we're going to do.
Kenyon, how cool is it to do that in a place that you call home in Iowa, obviously from South Carolina, but to do this with people that, you knew over the years, and like you said, it's not necessarily about generational wealth, but it's a community thing. You're bringing different families, different people that you knew over the years. How cool is experiencing this process with them?
It's actually very, very I mean, it's humbling for one thing, right? To have so many people that want to be involved in the project. Right. But that was one of the questions that the mayor of North Liberty asked me, like, and I told him, like, Iowa, I've been here since I was an 18-year-old snot-nosed freshman coming in the summer of 1992. I've been in Iowa ever since. Yeah. So when I say Iowa has given me everything, it's given me my education, my wife, my family. So for me, this is just a way that I can give back, that our family can give back, because it's all about sharing the blessings that we have gotten. It's very rare for a kid to make it to the NBA, and then you have two. And
that looked the same.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So for us, it's like, how can we continue to bless others with the blessings we have? And this is just one way that we can do it.
Yeah, I don't. So we talked. This is shifting topics a little bit, but we talked to. I don't know when this was. This is a year or so ago.
A while ago.
Last
it might
time,
have been two.
Maybe.
It
Yeah.
It
was a minute ago. Last time we had you on the pod, but obviously Keegan and Kris were getting going in their careers, but now that's even further in their career.
Yeah.
What has been the most rewarding thing for you as a parent, and now kind of getting to watch your sons, and not just your sons but all your kids, kind of go and do their individual things? What has that been like for you?
One thing, as parents, we don't always make, we're not always right. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. I mean, that's one of the things that you have to understand and be comfortable with, that you make mistakes. But I think for us, it's seeing our kids set goals and achieve them, whether it's our son Demetrius, who came to live with us when he was 17, and now he's a teacher and a football coach, or McKenna doing her thing at Oregon, or Kris and Keegan being in the NBA. It's really fun to see that when your kids set goals and they achieve them, and they're kind of living out this plan or the dreams that they had. That's very rewarding, because in the end, you just want to make sure that you hope that you did a good job to get them to this point, that God willing, I'm here, for a long time, but if I'm not, that they're able to go out and thrive and take care of themselves and take care of each other. For us, that's the biggest. For Michelle and I, that's probably the most rewarding thing, is to see our kids all thriving in what they set their sights on and they're achieving now. So.
Yeah, being a basketball-based, Sacramento-based podcast, it'd be crazy if we didn't talk basketball already.
Yeah.
I know we don't have you for long, so this season has been crazy. It's just literally from the jump, lots of ups and downs.
Yeah. I thought it was a great year.
Oh, yeah?
I thought it was awesome.
And there's been coaching changes, players traded, just a ton of stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
A little bit different than what Keegan's been used to. He came into a good situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their team had 2 All-Stars, 2 All-NBA players, and now it's kind of, they've gone separate ways.
Yeah.
What's been your take on all this?
Honestly, I'm really going to stick to what I was talking about earlier and what I've seen in Keegan, right? I think he's matured more this year based on the situation, right? Mm-hmm. You lose, a really good teammate and mentor in Harrison Barnes,
mm-hmm.
Before the season. You lose De'Aaron, who took Keegan under his wing. You lose Kevin. So there's been a lot of change, right, when it comes to that. So for me, it's been fun to see him mature. I think people are seeing it a little bit more in how he carries himself, mm-hmm. how he talks to the media and those kind of things. He's really grounded. And so that's, for us, it's really seeing him kind of navigate all the changes the way he has. Just because, Keegan's always he's a laid back kid.
Right.
But I just think he's done well. Obviously, there's a lot of great players on the floor, and the West's always tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always have to be making moves that allow you to compete in the West. I mean, not taking anything away from the East, but every night is a gauntlet, and you look at this next 5 games for them, it's not an easy road for them to finish up the season. So it has been a lot of change. I think all of us as fans have been frustrated at one point or another. But that's the way it is. And in the NBA, you have to be able to bring it every night. And sometimes it's based on how your roster's made up. And there's just really, really bad matchups night in and night out. But, I think they're still in a position to make the play-in. And that's a good thing, because if you think about it, we're in a position to maybe win 40 games again this year. And so I think if you look at the last 3 years, there's been success. Maybe not the jump that we thought after making the playoffs, but it just comes down to how do you rearrange your roster, and I think that's going to be the big thing, regardless of how this year ends up going into the offseason.
Do you think they make the playoffs?
I'm confident, you know.
Be honest.
I am. I think, you know, they've got it. If they get off to a good start, you know, win in Orlando, you know, if they start off the road trip that way, there is a lot of heat behind them. But I think, like with a team like Portland, where Kris is at, you know, maybe they don't have the veteran leadership to maybe, you know, close the deal at the end of the year. So you hope that with guys like Sabonis, DeRozan, and LaVine, like with guys like that, you know, they'll be able to close some of these games, and hopefully that veteran experience will come to the forefront and they can slide into the play-in, because that's what it looks like now.
No, I'm saying, do you think they'll make the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like that extra step.
Yeah. How you know, it remains to be seen. I'm not a predictor, and I probably don't watch enough basketball to say it. But I'm hoping for the play-in. That gives them a chance.
At least we know the matchup at this point. So if the Kings make the play-in, it's going to be a game against Dallas or Phoenix. Kings have played Dallas well. I mean, Dallas has gone through it this season. So I mean,
they've gone through it.
I mean, I know they got AD but he's, you know, probably still lingering injuries. So I mean, if the Kings make the play-in, I mean, I think they have a good shot in that first game.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want to go up against KD or Book or anything like that, but they have a good shot. And then, you know, anything can happen against the Wolves.
That's
or
the Clippers.
Yeah, the Wolves or who's in
Clippers.
the Clippers?
Oh,
That's right,
yeah,
the Clippers.
yeah.
So I mean,
I think out of those, the Clippers probably
You think
scare me
so?
the most. Yeah.
The defense?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of those teams
That's tough.
I think so. I mean, because you look at is it Zubac? Like
Yep.
he's had a career year.
Yeah.
You know, you got Kawhi back now. You know, Harden. Any given night he can go for 30 or 40. You know what I mean? So, and they have like other pieces like, you know, Norman Powell. I mean, he's had a career year as well. So that's a team that has a lot of guys that can get you.
Yeah.
And I think the Clippers for me like really scares me. Just
So you want the
matchup.
Clippers to win the first one and then to face the T-Wolves in the second game?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be tough either way. But
we know Keegan's gonna put the clamps on Ant. So like, you know.
Yeah. That's something to talk about defensively. He's been a monster
Crazy.
this year.
Yeah, it's been
Keegan and Keon will be clamping the offensive side. Yeah, I like that matchup. I do like that matchup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now let's transition over to the other son in Portland. Now he's in a different situation than Keegan. They're in a situation where they're building, and you know, he's in a situation where it's hard, you know, to fight for minutes. Yeah. And I also gotta take back some disrespect that I remember I texted you, and I was like, I don't even remember who I was kind of throwing shade at, I guess, or whatever. Yeah. But I was like, if the Kings don't get it together, you know, Portland gonna catch them. But now they're like right there. And I said that like earlier in the year. He didn't respond, and I was like, maybe he knew
Crazy
something or whatever.
That's funny.
But with Kris over in Portland, you know, how has that been? Because it's been, you know, two different journeys with him and Keegan, you know, so far in their entire career.
Yeah.
So how has that been for him and you guys to see the two?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, it's the one thing that we've always fought with the two of them is like a comparison thing. You know, they're two different kids. They, you know, their games have always complemented each other, but they're different. I think the situation in Portland is there's a lot of guys that play the same position. And so I think sometimes with finding consistency, because I think when he plays, he does a great job on the defensive end. He rebounds the ball. He's one of those very cerebral players that looks to make the right play every single time. You know, he hasn't shot the ball well, but I think sometimes that comes with inconsistency in minutes, right? You know, he's putting in the work and those kind of things, but when you're not sure on any given night how many minutes you're going to get, or if you're starting, like it's just, you know, you're asking somebody to be ready at any given moment, which I think he's done a good job of that, but I think the situation is a situation when you come with a team that has multiple guys that play the same position. So, you know, hopefully, you know, they picked up his third year. He'll have an opportunity again next year. And then we have a good agent. So regardless of what happens to Kris when it comes to his career, you know, you just have to trust the agents and that kind of stuff. If he gets moved or if he stays there. I know front office loves him. You know, I had a conversation with the GM, you know, just yesterday before they played, and you know, they're really happy with him, but it's just a matter of getting the minutes and figuring that out, because I think he has a chance to have a long career, but it's just a matter of, you know, where you're at.
He's a 6'8" defensive wing. A lot of teams can use that.
Yeah.
So he, you know, as long as he keeps putting the work in, he's going to have an opportunity somewhere, whether that be in Portland or not, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Like the Kings were searching for a 6'8" guy for years, and they finally traded for one in Jake LaRavia.
There you go.
And a similar path, right? Where was he a second round pick or high first?
I think it was a first round pick.
Yeah, high first, but he was injured.
Yep.
So he was inconsistent with the Grizzlies, and when he played, he was solid.
Yep.
But they didn't pick up his option, so they traded him to the Kings, and that could be Kris next year, right? Where he gets an opportunity elsewhere, and he brings the energy, the defensive versatility, which I know he has, and like you said, he plays with a different mindset, at least from a IQ perspective.
Yep, absolutely. So yes, I mean, with any player, it's about opportunity. But then we say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So you still got to keep putting in the work and never rest on your laurels and keep it moving because there's a lot of guys that are coming in the league every year that can take your spot. So
literally.
Do you want to reset the cameras and do a little more, or do we want to wrap it up?
I can wrap it up.
Yeah. Any other topics?
Yeah, just your predictions on what was going to the finals.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
So yeah, real quick before we end, I want to get all of our takes on who is going to the NBA Finals from either conference. I guess
it's the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah. The Kings are going to come from 10 seed and rise to the top of the West. Certainly. But I guess I'll go first. So my predictions are maybe a little controversial, but I think it's going to be Lakers. Boston.
Wow. Gosh. Oh my god.
I think it's going to be Lakers, Boston. I'm sorry, but OKC, I just don't know.
The biggest LeBron Glazer.
No, well, this is true. I'm a huge LeBron Glazer. But I just think the Lakers have the experience. I think the Lakers have the experience and the veteran know-how to take down a team like OKC. Again, this could be totally bunk. Like, they could blow them off the court in a series that they play.
They ain't going to be Denver.
But well, I don't know about that. Denver's not what they used to be. So I think it's gonna be LA and Boston. I think Boston's gonna repeat. That's my guess. What
you think, Mark?
I was gonna be the controversial one, but I can't top that. So I'm gonna stick to my guns and my smarts or whatever. And I've been saying OKC all year.
You have,
no doubt.
And I mean it's hard to pick against Boston and
Boston.
What they're doing over there. And I think it'll be a dope matchup having two young teams, very similar in a sense or whatever. But I think OKC wins it all. I think Isaiah Hartenstein was a really, really good pickup and compliments Chet whenever you have we talked about Denver in the past or whatever, dealing with Joker. And I think they have the size. I think they have the versatility. The only thing I'm concerned with is that they're young, but it's doable. That's why we watch games. We want to see new things happen, and that's what I'm about. So OKC for me.
Yeah. OKC Boston. I think it's a pretty safe bet. Two best teams in basketball. The Cavs have a good shot.
I really like the Cavs.
Suns owner is a diehard Cavs fan. I actually took him to the game last week when they came to Sacramento, and he was pissed that they lost. But he's like, I don't know what's going on with the team. And they're going on last 2 nights ago they won, but they were on a 4 or 5 game losing streak.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going through it right now at the wrong time, right?
Yeah.
But that does build character. They've had some injuries with Garland being out, but again, I think they have the best chance to beat Boston. I don't think they will. Yeah, they have a really deep roster, but I just think Boston's just too good. I mean, watching Boston this week, was it this week?
Yeah,
this week. I mean, they're so good. I'm just like, come on.
They shoot the lights out.
My problem with OKC Boston is it is too safe of a bet.
Yeah,
it's just the two that
best
everyone
team,
expects.
I just can't bet
going
on
to the top,
Lakers.
and I just don't know if that's the way professional sports really work. There's usually a team in there that gets upset. There's some sort of shift, and so that's why I'm Lakers.
Barring injury.
Okay, well.
Barring injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm going to go OKC and Boston too, and I think OKC for this reason alone. They have guys that when they come in the game, it's green light. Yep. They have guys that aren't afraid to let it fly at any given time, and then they have a closer in Shai Gilgeous.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. If you need a bucket, he's that guy. But I think they're so deep. And I also think I won't even say it's pressure. I think that their window is small. They have this year and next year to win a championship.
For the money purposes.
Because of money purposes, right? But I think that they have everything on the defensive end. When you've got Hartenstein and you can bring help defense like Chet Holmgren over, when you talk about, playing a Joker or somebody like that, and they swarm. And I mean, and they're active. And the one thing that I loved about them is that they play with joy.
Yep.
Every game, every post game, it's all those guys together. And I think it's that'll allow them to beat Boston in the finals. Wow. I'm not saying Boston's sitting on their laurels,
sure.
But who's hungrier, right? Everybody was talking about Tatum and those guys getting a championship. They got their championship, but these guys are coming and they're hungry. So I think it'll be Boston, OKC, but I think it'll be a really good series that could go 6 games, but I see OKC winning.
Wow.
Yeah,
so let me make a prediction. I think
blood boiling.
No, there's no
I think
blood
the
boiling.
Celtics repeat.
You think they repeat?
I think the Celtics repeat, but again, it's going 7. It wouldn't surprise me if OKC won. Again, to your point, the length.
It's such a good matchup.
They have everything.
Yeah.
Like they've been blessed to have these guys on rookie contracts.
Yep.
Like you said, that's gonna disappear soon because J-Dub is a star in my opinion. He's gonna be a superstar. Superstar in this league, and it's just a matter of where he's going to go. Because can they keep him and can they keep everybody else? I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting, and my blood is not boiling. Mark is contrary. I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't really care if the Lakers win the chip. I just think there's going to be an upset somewhere, and I don't see anyone in the East upsetting Boston. Maybe the Cavs, but Boston's so good. And then in the West, I mean, who knows? What? Okay. What if
we
like
know.
Okay,
we know.
yeah.
It's
Okay. We're gonna see in a little over a month how
and
this
can
goes.
I do a quick? I know we about to get out of here, but a quick by ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we had it down for like 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I got one cooking. Since my man Kenyon is in the house tonight or this evening, I am buying kindness. And this morning, I started off. I was at Walmart in the parking lot, and you inspired me to be kind. It's something you did that you probably don't know you did, unaware of, whatever, but it touched me. And I remember I was like, I was talking to my wife, and I was like, yo, this was so dope. But I think it was Father's Day, and you were the first person to text me, dude. It was like 5 in the morning. I was like, hey, I was like, babe, King Dad just texted me right now, told me happy Father's Day or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I was like, and I think at this point, this is like maybe a year ago or whatever. So we're still, getting to know each other or whatever. And I was like, that's really dope. And today, since I knew we was recording, with you, I was passing by Walmart and I seen a homeless dude sitting there or whatever. And I had a case of water next to me. Mm-hmm. And I, gave him a case of water. I was like, what would Kenyon do? And I think you had a post like that too. So then I was like, so I'm buying kindness or whatever. But that's what you showed us.
It's a great buy.
I appreciate that.
I won't soil the buy or sell segment with some hate or something.
Yeah, that's what
what I usually do. Yeah. When I complain about something. So.
Yeah.
But this has been the 3 in the Paint podcast. Thank you, Kenyon, for joining us again. It's always a pleasure. Leo, Mark, and Pompous Steakhouse. We'll be back with another episode. Stay tuned.